How GLP-1 drugs are changing US food and beverage demand, a changing consumer landscape. Approximately 1 in 8 US adults have used a GLP-1 medication such as Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro, whether for weight loss or a chronic condition. In November 2025, market research firm Circana estimated that by 2030, GLP-1 users could account for up to 35% of all food and beverage unit sales in the U.S. To understand what that means on the ground for the U.S. food and beverage industry, we interviewed multiple industry experts on how eating habits change while patients are on GLP-1s, which categories stand to lose and gain the most, and how manufacturers are positioning themselves against a structural shift in consumption. A fundamental change in the relationship with food. According to Third Bridge experts, the effect goes well beyond a smaller appetite. Patients on single agonists, GLP-1 alone, such as Ozempic and Wegovy, see average weight loss of 10% to 15%, while those on dual agonists, the GLP-GIP combination, generally experience a 20% to 24% reduction, with caloric intake cut by almost half. But the impact is not only about consuming fewer calories. GLP-1 drugs are changing how people think about and engage with food itself, creating a behavioral change that may matter more than the numbers. As one expert put it, the desire and interest in foods tends to get minimized, if not eliminated entirely, amounting to a change in the fundamental relationship with food while taking GLP-1 drugs. The big question for food and beverage demand, therefore, is whether GLP-1 drugs are likely to become a standing feature in patients' lives. Currently, around 80% of users stay on for at least a year, our expert notes. Our experts added that long-term adoption of GLP-1 drugs would likely push the household drop in snacking consumption into the double-digit range, rather than the single-digit decline observed by patient snacking behaviors fluctuating when they are on or off. When patients come off, our experts noted that fewer than half manage to maintain their weight loss. Even when patients adopt a healthier lifestyle while taking GLP-1s, cravings, and as a result, snacking behaviors tend to return when they come off. This yo-yo pattern could mean a more limited, medium-term impact on demand for the snacking industry. Sweet snacks face the biggest challenge. Snacking is widely considered the food category most exposed to the rise of GLP-1 drugs, with our experts saying the biggest reductions in calorie intake come from patients eliminating between-meal snacking. Indulgent categories such as chocolate, candy, and sweet baked goods are likely to be hit hardest, as GLP-1 users lose the desire for foods consumed primarily for enjoyment, with one expert estimating the long-term volume hit to manufacturers could reach double digits. By contrast, protein-rich snacks, including yogurt and meat snacks, are likely to be relatively more resilient as consumers shift towards more nutritious options when still choosing to snack. Alcohol consumption under pressure, with beer most exposed. The adoption of GLP-1 drugs is emerging as another headwind for alcohol producers, adding to a structural decline in drinking driven by younger consumers' growing preference for healthier lifestyles and moderation. Traditional beer faces disproportionate pressure from GLP-1 adoption because its higher liquid volume makes it less appealing to consumers with reduced appetites. As GLP-1 users seek the same alcohol effect with less consumption, beer is likely to lose share to spirits and other lower-volume alcoholic beverages. However, the broader challenge for the industry is that GLP-1 users may derive less pleasure from alcohol altogether, reducing consumption regardless of beverage type. As GLP-1 adoption expands beyond medical use to younger, more affluent consumers, our expert expects the impact to broaden beyond beer. Premium wine, high-end spirits, ready-to-drink products, RTDs, and flavored malt beverages are likely to face increasing pressure as these categories are more popular among the demographic driving GLP-1 uptake. While overall alcohol consumption is expected to decline as GLP-1 adoption expands, our expert believes white spirits, such as vodka and tequila, are relatively well positioned. Their lower sugar content and versatility make them more attractive to health conscious consumers. How manufacturers are responding. Our experts say food manufacturers will need to adapt through product reformulation and packaging innovation. Indulgent snack manufacturers are also likely to face the greatest challenges in reformulating products to appeal to GLP-1 consumers. According to one expert, replacing sugar and fat, which drive taste and texture, without compromising the eating experience remains difficult. Savory snacks, meanwhile, may offer more opportunities for product innovation as consumers shift towards healthier options. Alongside reformulation efforts focusing on improving nutritional value to appeal to GLP-1 users, packaging changes could include smaller portions and single-serve formats that better match lower calorie consumption. However, the shift away from larger pack sizes could put pressure on margins, potentially requiring higher prices to maintain profitability. Alcohol manufacturers will also need to adapt as consumer preferences change. The rise of flavored drinks is a broader trend that started before GLP-1 drugs became popular, but our expert notes that younger consumers are increasingly choosing flavored beverages over traditional unflavored beer. This means beer companies may need to invest more in new flavors and products to stay relevant. They may also introduce smaller pack sizes, mini cans, and new formats to better match consumers who are drinking less. However, our experts caution that alcohol manufacturers, and beer in particular, may still be underestimating the true impact of these drugs, and may not be innovating or diversifying their portfolios fast enough to mitigate the threat.